Hello guys, I'm back with another video on Reddit, and today I have r/EntitledParents video. And before I start the video, I just want to say subscribe to my other channels because I might start uploading on them more, and comment below if anyone semi-nearly cried when watching that PewDiePie diss track on T-Series. Let's get straight into the video. This one's titled EP almost kills her child because she wants him to ride a ride he wasn't allowed to. Try to suppress assault charges against me. So, I've been lurking for a bit and decided to share my EP story. This is going to be a long one. When I was 16, I worked at an amusement park in my city. It wasn't a big one, but it wasn't small either. Most of our rides were aimed towards elementary school aged children, though we had a few for the older kids as well. Anyways, I was a rides operator, and that day I was assigned to a ride designed for older kids. We had to measure the kids and they couldn't go on if they were under the height requirement no matter what, even if they had a parent with them, because it was a ride that only had a bar that went across your stomach, so someone too small could easily fall off. Entitled mother, who we'll call EM, and the entitled brat, EV, are in line. I can already tell the kid's gonna be too short to ride without even having to measure him. It's pretty far back, so I know it's gonna be 1 or 2 runs before he makes it on. After I'm done loading, I tell EM that her kid is too short for the ride and that they should go try the smaller versions of it on the other side of the park. She looks at me with the dirtiest stare ever and just says, "We're gonna wait here." Now I have to run my ride because I need to meet certain times, so I don't argue. Time goes by and she's finally at the start of the line. I measure her kid, and of course, he's like 6 inches shorter than the height requirements. Me: "I'm sorry ma'am, but your child is too short to ride this ride. I would recommend going over to the smaller versions near the entrance of the park though." EM: "No, it's fine. I'm with him. I'll hold him." She tries to shove me out of the way, but I'm standing my ground. Me: "I'm really sorry ma'am, but we don't allow people under the height limit to ride this ride. The safeties we have on it just won't hold someone too small, and your kid could just fall off." She then asks to speak to my manager. I get asked that quite a lot by EPs, so I give them a call and tell her to wait on the side while I load my ride. She gets very offended, saying that she shouldn't have to wait longer for her kid to ride this ride because I couldn't do my job. And at this point, I just kinda ignored her and moved on. Ride runs, my team lead gets there and talks with her. He tells her that he's really sorry, but that I'm right, her child can't ride this ride. Now, at this point, Evie is throwing a tantrum, and I mean, he's rolling on the concrete like a piece of bacon in a frying pan. I'm trying my hardest not to laugh at this point. Anyways, my lead apologizes, offers her a skip the line ticket for the ride he's allowed to go on at the entrance, and leaves. EM is trying to calm down EV and starts talking to him. He gets up, all smiling and happy, stands next to the gate watching me. Now I'm not thinking too much at this point, so I start loading my ride again, which has a significantly less busy line, and I have a couple of empty seats on it. As I'm doing my security check and getting ready to run it, EM taps me on the shoulder and thanks me for my help, which I found extremely odd. I turn around to tell her that it's really no problem, and start apologizing and telling me that she shouldn't have acted the way she did and blah blah blah. I'm completely stunned, not really sure how to react, but I tell her it's no problem and enjoy the rest of her day. I look back at my ride and realize that EB isn't standing next to the fence anymore. I'm starting to get weird vibes. I look around for him and he's nowhere to be seen. I look at EM again, who has her phone out with her camera pointing at the ride, and that's when I knew. I take my keys out of the ride and start walking towards it. It's kind of a swing type of thing, so I couldn't see the back from where I was standing, but I knew damn well EV had snuck on. EM starts panicking, asking me what I'm doing and why I'm not running the ride. I completely ignore her and I walk to the back of the ride, and lo and behold, EV is sitting there and almost shits himself when he sees me walking towards him. He didn't have the bar properly locked at all and would have flown right off as soon as I started the ride. Now I am mad, and I mean mad. I mean, I could have gone to jail for manslaughter right here and there. I just look at him and very strenuously tell him to get off my ride. He tells me he can't and he needs help, which is fair. I mean, I don't even know how he managed to get in there in the first place. but I grab him and put him down, and he starts sprinting towards his mum crying. As he's running, he trips and falls down on his face. When he gets up, his nose is all bloody and his knees are skinned, which I knew I was completely utterly fucked. EM starts screaming like a banshee at the sight. As I'm running towards the kid to make sure he's not dead and try to help him up, she runs towards me, slaps me as hard as she could across the face and starts yelling for security. I'm absolutely and completely stunned at this point. Some security guards must have heard her screaming at the top of her lungs because they come running, and the exchange goes something like this. Security guard is SG. SG, what's going on here? This girl assaulted my son. She threw him off the ride and onto the pavement. Excuse me? Did she really want them to believe I just yeeted her kid 10 feet away from where they were sitting? It's true, she punched me too. Do you want us to call the police? Yes, you need to arrest her, she's mentally unstable. I'm just dumbfounded at this point. My lead gets to the ride and asks what the hell is going on, and I tell him everything that happens in between sobs. There's only one thing Ian forgot to take into account though. There was like 15 people on the ride who saw everything. So they tell the police and the security guards and my lead and everyone else what happened, and Ian quickly realized her error. As she started running with her kid in tow as soon as she saw people asking the other guests questions. They caught her pretty quickly and I pressed assault charges against her. Needless to say, I handed in my resignation that same day. This one's titled, "You're a capable young man, so I grab whatever I want from your shopping cart." Details, I am 17 and live in the UK. This happened around December of last year. It happened in Lidl to be exact. Now this is going to be a very long read, so prepare. EM entitled mum, EK entitled kid. My mum asked me to go grocery shopping because she was quite busy with something and I agreed to go, so I went to Lidl. I spent around 10 minutes looking for things on the shopping list. I decided to get a treat for myself because why not, and so I got some thin curry chocolate. No, this chocolate wasn't sold at the till in this location. I finally finished finding everything and made my way to the till. I was standing in line using my phone, just minding my business, until the overly loud parent with a very hyperactive kid who looked around 8 came behind me in the line. EM, you wouldn't mind letting us go in front of you, would you? I looked down on her cart, which seemed to be a lot more full than mine, and I decided I'm not in a rush, so why not, I replied. Sure, and subtly smiled. She thanked me and went on to go in front of me. My impression of this woman seemed normal until this happened. The EK said as he was pointing at my cart, "Mom, look, it's that chocolate that you promised me to buy next time we go shopping." EM, oh yeah darling, I just remembered. The EM looked up to me and said, "May I grab the chocolate bar? The little one's been eager to eat it." Now, this chocolate is somewhat far from the tills in this location, and as I mentioned earlier, isn't sold at the tills either, so getting a new chocolate bar for myself would have been a chore. I replied, "I'm sorry, I don't think I can give you the chocolate, it's quite far from the tills." Her smile quickly turned into a death stare and she said in a loud voice, "Right, I don't care how far the chocolate is from here. Now someone like you is more than capable of getting a new bar, so stop making George cross." I replied, "I don't care how capable I am, I'm not going anywhere and this chocolate is staying in the cart." Now, there was a lot going through my head at this point, but I remembered how the EK was reaching inside my cart trying to grab the chocolate, so I quickly grabbed it myself and held it in my hand. "EK, Mom, the guy took the chocolate." Right, I've had enough. The EM reached my hand to grab the chocolate, but I moved in time and decided to go directly to the cashier and ask him to call a manager. Now the cashier seemed to have witnessed everything, so he informed the manager about what happened. No more than 2 minutes of me awkwardly standing and the manager arrives. She walks up to the EM and quickly asks her to leave, and the EM kept trying to incriminate me somehow until she finally paid for her groceries and left. Me and the cashier and the manager all had a good laugh about it after she left. Now that I think about it, that scene was worth a chocolate bar, but oh well. I know it said it wasn't worth the chocolate bar, but let's be real, watching someone throw a fit over food is just hilarious. Hope you guys liked the video, hope you guys comment, whatever, subscribe, peace out.